your Sooner.
Runs it himself, right up the middle, has a whole 45-40. Watch out, he's in the clear. 30, tripped up at the 25-yard line, or he would have gone the whole way. Deep shot fluttering around the 15-yard line. It's caught, wrapped up, stopped. You can unhitch the wagon. Put the ponies in the barn. Sooner magic still works in the SEC.
Welcome to the Air Comfort Solutions OU Huddle, live from Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue on the Sooner Sports Network from Learfield. Presented by Air Comfort Solutions, your total home solution for plumbing, heating, air conditioning, and electrical. Make the winning call today. Also brought to you by Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue, bringing you the best in real Texas barbecue. And by the Trails Golf Club, where members become family. Now, the Air Comfort Solutions OU Huddle.
Oh, let's go. A new season is here. This is the Huddle. And as you just heard, it is brought to you by your total home solution for plumbing, heating, air conditioning, and electrical. Make the winning call today, Air Comfort Solutions. My name is Chris Plank. Please join me in welcoming Werfel Trophy winner, co-host of the Oklahoma Breakdown, and one of the all-time great centers in Oklahoma football history, Gabe Ikard, is here tonight. And making his Huddle debut, Sooner General Manager.
It's okay.
Sooner General Manager.
We'll get it. He's due.
Jim Nagy. I'll reach across with a fist bump.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yes.
New year. Welcome to Norman.
Are you going to do this every week?
If you guys need me to, I'll be
here.
here.
What do you guys think? Have the GM every week? I think that would work out pretty well.
That'd be nice.
First of all, I guess the prerequisite, welcome to game week in Norman.
It's about time.
Yeah.
It's about time.
It's been a while.
You blink. Here's the crazy thing. The off season it's the longest off season in sports, the college football off season. And we're sitting here and we're going to blink, and next thing you know, it's going to be November. So we've got to immerse ourselves in this while we can. But you get here in February, right?
March. Beginning of March.
Now 6 months in, you game day ready? How you feeling? How's things gone for you getting acclimated to Norman?
I better be ready. No, I feel at home here. I was living the first 3 months I was here. I was in an Airbnb right down the street.
Nice.
So, so I drove by Rudy's every day. But no, we're ready. We're ready to go. Glad season's finally here. Tired of watching the guys hit each other. If we're gonna hurt people, let's hurt other people. So no, ready for it to go.
Hey, I want to just ask in general because we haven't had an opportunity to get to know your family or your staff. But first, your wife, Lindsay, you have 2 kids, Hayden and Lillian. So how has the family acclimation been in getting here to Norman?
Well, my daughter's in high school, so I'm not the most popular dad around right now. Moving her in high school. But no, they're doing great. They got out here in the middle of July. My son's in college. He's at Auburn. He will be here with like 5 or 6 of his buddies when we stomp them in a couple weeks. But
wearing OU gear, I assume.
OU underwear, maybe. I don't think his friends will let him wear OU stuff. But no, everyone's doing great. No, it's good to be here.
What has it been like building the staff out? I know that you had a big vision for what you wanted this to be once you got hired. How are you feeling about what you've been able to accomplish from a staff perspective?
Yeah, if you would have told me back in March that this was the group we would have ended up with, I would have done backflips. So if I was physically capable of doing backflips. No, it's a great group. Again, I've said it before. I've had a lot of blind spots never working in college football. So hired a bunch of guys that have been in college football and added a bunch of guys with NFL experience as well. So no, it turned out great. So we can go one by one if you want. I can talk about those guys, but no, really excited about the group.
By the way, our opening segment is brought to you by Community Coffee. Let's go one by one.
Sure.
Because we really haven't had a chance to talk about them. And Gabe can add something because the first name is your senior assistant GM, Lake Dawson. And Gabe, that's someone that you crossed paths with in your NFL career, right?
Lake's the man. We were at a couple different stops together. I ran into him out of training camp, and we both looked at each other and went, "Hey,
seen you before.
Good to see him, man." Yeah. He's awesome. He's just great reputation from his time in the NFL.
Yeah, great reputation. Played at Notre Dame. Was a great player there. 3rd-round draft pick of the Kansas City Chiefs, and then the last 24 years as an NFL executive. Interviewed for GM jobs, held VP titles in the league, and he was a guy that I wasn't sure if we'd be able to get come down to the college level. And so I waited it out through the NFL draft and made the call after the draft, and he said yes. And so just really excited to add Lake.
Before we roll through every guy, I did want to stop for a moment and ask, you have a very diverse group by their backgrounds. You know, you mentioned you have some NFL, you have some college guys, you have Drew Hill, a guy that's been here for a while. You have guys that have worked in the agent world. How important was it to you to have that diverse of a staff?
Yeah, really important, because you want to bring in people with different perspectives. And again, the pro and college thing was really important as well, just to have a nice blend and a good mix. And we're young and old, so I mean, it's not just the evaluation side, it's the recruiting side. So I feel like I wanted to have a staff that provided another layer of recruiting, so it's not just all on the coaches. So when we have guys in on visits, we've got enough young guys on the staff that can connect with the players, and then we've got some older guys like myself and Lake that we're the same age as the parents now, so we can help recruit the parents.
Covering all bases. That's smart.
By the way, as someone who now has a senior in college, that moment when you're the same age as the parents, it's just a weird experience altogether.
It's a little sobering, yeah.
It's like whenever, like,
how'd I get here?
Wait a minute, hold on. I'm not that old to have a kid in college yet. But you mentioned the youth, and I think Taylor Redd, your assistant GM, provides a lot of that for you too.
Yeah, Taylor's a young guy. I mean, Taylor's great. Didn't have a lot of background with him, but he was part of the group last year that was helping OU transition to this structure. And so when I got the job and I started asking around to the coaching staff, like, what was this guy all about? How was he last year when he was around? I mean, the coaching staff loved him. He did a great job. He's super sharp. Again, still a younger guy, but has 6 years of NFL experience. We both spent time with the Patriots. I was kind of at the beginning of the Tom Brady dynasty, and he was there at the end of it. But, yeah, Taylor's been a huge addition.
You okay if we keep just rolling through these?
Roll through them, man.
Yeah.
Guy that has been somewhat of a staple, and I don't know if many here in attendance at the Huddle or those tuned in on the TV side or the radio side are aware of the impact that Drew Hill has had on this program, but kind of a day one guy, and you've kept him on board as the director of scouting. I love Drew to death, has an incredible background, has some time at Fresno State, awesome family. What kind of drew you to Drew?
Yeah, that was, I hadn't seen Drew in a while. I saw him at the Auburn game last year on the sidelines. We first connected back in his Fresno days. He was the pro liaison, we call him, and he's the guy that met with NFL scouts when they came through Fresno. So that was probably 15, 20 years ago. So when I came in on the interview, I saw Drew, and I'm like, this is definitely a guy I'd like to keep around if I indeed got the job. So yeah, just Drew's knowledge of where Oklahoma has been. What I didn't know, and you never know this when you're working in the personnel world. You never you know when you like a guy, you know if he's a good person. You never know if he's a great evaluator or not until you start reading the reports and talking players with them. And Drew's got a great eye. So it was again another really key. It was key to keep a guy in the building, and we didn't just do it just to have a holdover. We did it because Drew's really good. Director
of High School Scouting, Cale Pearson.
Yeah, Cale's an Oklahoma legend. He's like 32 years old. He's already in the Oklahoma High School Hall of Fame. He was a 3-time state champ at, I think, Union High School over in Tulsa. Started at quarterback at Air Force. Was a captain at the Air Force Academy. Went and was deployed. When he came back, I think he was at a base here in Oklahoma City or more, somewhere in the surrounding area. And he was the GM at Air Force. And when you're the GM at Air Force at that level, he was a one-man shop. He did everything. He set up all the recruiting visits. I mean, he literally did everything there. So, again, to get a guy like Cale and the connections to the state was really big.
Stacey Ford is the director of player personnel, but I found what was interesting in his title, and you and I talked about this a while back, retention. Now, we get so caught up in this world of talent acquisition and bringing guys in, but retention's a pretty big deal.
It's a huge deal. It's a huge deal because the cost of retention is a lot lower than the cost of acquisition, and that's why we wanted to be intentional about that with Stacey. And again, he's a younger guy, California guy. We see California as an area where we can really start to target in recruiting because now we are the westernmost SEC program. So if you're coming out here, if you have a West Coast player that wants to play in the SEC, you got to fly over Norman to get to the other schools. So, like one of the guys on the guest list for Michigan is remember Eric Weddle, the great safety, Pro Bowl safety for the San Diego Chargers. His son is a 2028 prospect, and he's coming. And that was kind of the sell. I reached out to Eric, and He's the head coach
We're
at the
close.
school. Yeah, we're close, man. Like, get on a plane. So, no, Stacy's got great ties into Southern California. He's born and raised in L.A. He was at Washington State with Ben Arbuckle the last couple of years, so that's the
Good
connection.
tie.
I did not know Stacy at all. Ben gave him a great recommendation. We interviewed him, flew him out here, and it was a no-brainer once I met him. He's going to be great in recruiting.
And then Charlie Parkinson, I think that's the last of your 6, 7. I might be leaving someone out, but Assistant Director of College Scouting. Tell us a little bit about Charlie.
Yeah, Charlie's a really bright young guy. Had him last year at the Senior Bowl. Came from a football family. All the boys played college football. He's from the Northeast. He's a Northeast guy, but had him in Mobile last year. I think in my time at the Senior Bowl, we pushed 7 or 8 young guys into the National Football League in scouting roles, and Charlie would have been the next one, except I stole him and brought him here. And now all the NFL teams are coming through, and he and Drew are the 2 guys that meet with the scouts. And every single NFL guy's come up to me like, man, that Charlie, he's really good. And I'm like, yeah, you can't take him. He's ours now. So, no, Charlie's great.
Well, and that's what's kind of wild about this too, Gabe, because, we talk about trying to keep coaches. Now it's trying to keep good talent evaluators, good front office guys, because it's not just other colleges. It's NFL. It's maybe even the marketing and the agent side that are looking at these guys too. You're fitting off a lot of people.
Well, it's going to be a good problem to have, and hopefully we do have the problem because it's a copycat. Everyone says the NFL is a copycat league. I think football's just a copycat sport. So when this structure takes form and we start winning SEC championships, they're going to look to Oklahoma and they're going to be picking off the guys, and that's great. I already have like next men up in each position ready, but that'll be a great problem to have.
I'll wrap our first segment with this. You've been on like a train tour, talking to people all across the state and all across the country, explaining Oklahoma football, talking about the GM role. Gabe, you and Teddy had a night with him for the Oklahoma Breakdown. But there's probably a lot of people in here tonight, Jim, that haven't had an opportunity to truly kind of understand the vision and the role of the general manager. So at Oklahoma, how have you seen that role evolve, and what do you think the ultimate goal is for the role of the general manager in that front office?
Yeah, I would say this. The GM role, it's growing across college football, but it means something different really at every school. I credit our leadership at Oklahoma for really having a vision for this thing and having it be really like a true split structure where there's a scouting side and a coaching side. And I said this to a lot of the families on the official visits. You look at the National Football League, there's 32 owners. They're all billionaires for a reason. They're all smart business people. They've looked at how they operate and the efficiencies and the best way to do it. And 32 out of 32 have our structure. And then you look at college football. Before Oklahoma made this move, there was 136 out of 136 were doing it the same way college football had always been done. And that was basically just, run by the coaching staff, and they just recruit and scout whoever they want. This is going to be an awesome collaboration. That's probably been the most fun part so far, is really getting with the coaching staff and really getting our hands dirty together and building that relationship. So, I'm just really excited to get going and get into the season.
Good stuff. Learning a lot about the structure in the front office. Our opening segment has been brought to you by Community Coffee, family-owned Community Coffee, the official brewed coffee of OU Athletics. Taste the difference family makes. All right, let's talk about this team. Jim Nagy, GM for the Sooners, is with us for the Huddle. Stick around. We're back live from Rudy's next.
Thank you to our cornerstone television partners, OU Health, OG&E, Fowler Auto Group, and Coca-Cola. The Huddle is brought to you by Taco Mayo. Tap the app and save up to 25% today. Air Comfort Solutions. Your total home solution for plumbing, heating, air conditioning, and electrical. Make the winning call today. One Oklahoma. Powered by Sooner Sports Properties. Fan-fueled, athlete-focused.
Empty on 2nd and 11 from the 45. Back to pass. Milroe looks right, throws right. Picked off! Kip Lewis down the sidelines. 20, 15. He did it again! He did it again! Kip Lewis, pick 6! Kip Lewis, Kip 6! Oh, Bubba!
Love it.
Oh, what a moment. What a moment. And I should mention this, Gabe, because I haven't mentioned yet. What a call by the voice of the Sooners, Toby Rowland, who, congratulations, is now the sports director at Channel 9.
You're not Toby.
That's right. So that's probably so. Congratulations to Toby. It might preclude him from being here a majority of the season, but we'll still have fun, and he'll be on the call Saturday night, 5 o'clock kick, which means we're on the air with our expanded 3-hour pregame show at 2 p.m. against Illinois State. We'll talk about Illinois State here in a bit, but Jim Nagy's with us, Sooner general manager. All right, you mentioned these guys have been hitting each other. So what have you seen so far? What kind of stands out as far as this squad right now?
Just great competition. Again, me not being here last year, I had to ask a lot of the players, ask a lot of the staff, ask Gabe and Teddy when they came out to practice. Just the difference this year compared to last year, and it was really the back and forth competition. It's really hard to have a great camp when one side of the ball is dominating. And I'll say this about this year's camp. It truly was. It went from like day to day to period to period. You know, the offense would be whooping up on the defense, and then the defense would bow up and have a great period the next period. So it was really heated. And there were some fights. Or like, really not really the last couple weeks, but the first week of camp.
Yeah.
They were throwing down quite a bit, which, again, I think in camp that's good. I never have a problem with that. You like to see it with the young guys more than the veteran guys, but no, it was good, really good competition.
Nothing wrong with getting after it a little bit.
But Gabe's line is always grown men talking.
Just grown men talking.
Just grown men
having a conversation.
But you mentioned something. Hard to have a good camp when one side is dominating the ball. It had to be then incredibly rewarding to see how balanced that was at times.
Yeah, no, it's a really well-built football team, and everyone knows the injuries last year. It is what it is. That was kind of the narrative coming out of last season. But when this team's healthy, and we're healthy right now, that the 2-deep roster is really good. And I know we released the depth chart today with a lot of oars in there.
We'll talk about that.
19.
But when this team's healthy, and we are right now, it's a really good 2-deep roster.
Start with the quarterback. No or there.
No or. No.
Although I think just from what I've seen, everyone's really excited about what Michael Hawkins can be as a player. But what have you seen from John Mateer? Everything I've seen has been very impressive from QB1.
Yeah, I'll say this. And I told John this early, before we even got going in fall camp. I said, I'm going to be talking about you in a certain way, and I'm only going to do that because I know you can handle it. Sometimes you talk up players and it lets that affect them. But no, John's been better than I thought he was. He made a couple throws every practice in the spring where you're like, okay, that's an NFL quarterback. Like, this guy can do it. And then just to see him in the building every day around the players, he did a bunch of stuff in the spring portal, recruiting visits, official visits. To see him relate with the players and lead the players and just the energy that he brings to the program. I was just saying it off the air a little bit. Like, I can't wait for the fan base to see this guy on game day because he's the type of player that's going to energize the crowd.
Brings juice.
He brings a lot of juice. Yep.
If you're juiceless, you're useless. I heard that. So
I like that.
Yeah,
put that on a T-shirt.
Just came up with it. So let's stay in the backfield, shall we? Go to running back because you've been asked a lot about, you've talked a lot about, and I think there were some people that did a double take whenever Jay Knott wasn't at the top of the depth chart. But he's battled through some things, but man, he's got the potential to be pretty special.
He does. And I think, in terms of where the depth chart came out today, I think we had Javonte Barnes and Blaylock 1 and 2, and they deserve that because not only did Jaden miss a lot of time during fall camp, so did the rest of the room. We went 2 weeks plus with Barnes and Blaylock as the only 2 running backs carrying the ball.
Wow.
I mean, we had shout out to Major Melson was running third-team running back, slot receiver. I think DeMarco took some carries at one point.
He still got it.
But no, those two guys. I mean, I can't say enough about the workload those guys put in during fall camp, so they deserve it. But yeah, Jaden's a really dynamic guy. He's another guy that the fans are going to like to watch because he's a big play waiting to happen.
I want to talk about Torrey Blaylock because running back is one of those positions that I think you can play a young freshman if they're ready physically. What have you seen from him? Because he does seem to bring a speed element to the backfield that maybe we haven't had these last couple seasons.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, he and Ott both. I mean, the electricity coming out of those two guys is going to be incredible. But with Torrey, we went back as a group, as a scouting staff. We went back the other day and watched Torrey's high school tape just to see what did that look like. And I would say the biggest difference between that tape was to what he's shown in camp so far is the physicality and the toughness. Not that he wasn't, tough on high school tape. He didn't have to be physical. He just ran away from everybody. So I think that was the biggest surprise even to DeMarco was, some of the inside run stuff, some of the blitz pickup. He's been great in pass protection. So he's had a great camp. You don't hear coaches talk about young players like our coaching staff is talking about Blaylock right now because, they're genuinely excited. We all are.
I'm curious because you bring up going back and looking at the tape of Tory Blaylock. The old saying, good is good. But do you have to adjust the way that you view prospects because you were looking at guys that, I don't know, maybe were at the next step to the NFL when you were at the Senior Bowl? You were looking at NFL talent whenever you were with, the NFL teams, the Patriots. Is it a different type of scout for the college game, or is it good is good?
It's been a little different. I think, and I said this back at my first press conference, I think if you focus on the athlete for one, and then the instincts, regardless of position, instincts carry over. You either know how to play or you don't. And then the play style, the physicality, the toughness, all those things kind of transcend the level of competition. But yeah, certainly when you see a small school player, like just the other day we were watching a player in North Dakota. And it's not like he's playing, somewhere in Texas or Florida. So it was a little bit more challenging. But we've done that for the last 2 weeks. We watch practice every day as a group, as a scouting staff. And then we pick 3 or 4 guys on the current roster, and we go back and watch their high school tape and what did that look like. What did our Mason Thomas look like when he was 215 pounds coming out of high school? Compared to now. So our group, for the guys that have been in the NFL and don't have that experience and see it through that lens, okay, this is how far they can come. Let's not see a 215-pound high school edge rusher and just cast him aside, knowing that in 3 years, the guy's going to be 250 pounds.
That's really interesting.
I think it's his birthday today, too. If I saw that right.
21 years old.
He's only 21?
He came here as a 17-year-old. Yeah, I told him after the season I'll buy him a beer. It's
Monday.
It's not the right time right now. But,
21st birthday on a Monday, week 1. Not ideal.
Not ideal.
Hopefully he's making the most of it.
I'm sure he is. You want to shift to receiver here? We'll talk some receivers.
I would love to.
I thought of the positions that didn't have oars, the wide receiver for the starters. You had Keontez Lewis, Isaiah Satania, and then Deion Burke. Should I get them right off the top of my head?
Nailed it.
Beautiful.
Okay.
But the feeling was like a complete almost remake of that room led by Deion Burks. And hopefully, we get a chance to see Jaden Gibson. But overall, what's been your feel, Jim, since you got here on the development of that room under Emmett's watch?
It's a really deep group. I hope Deion can stay healthy because when he's healthy, we're a completely different offense, in my opinion. He's a guy that I looked at a couple years ago when he was at Purdue for the Senior Bowl. We thought he might graduate as a redshirt sophomore and be eligible to play in that game. So been watching Deion for a long time. He is really a dynamic playmaker. So keeping him healthy, he's probably had the last 2 weeks, he's probably had as good a camp as anybody on the team right now. So, and then there's a bunch of transfers. There's a bunch of new faces in that room, and they all kind of bring a little bit different thing, skill set to the table. So I think we're going to roll a lot of guys in and out of there the first few weeks and see where it goes from there. But a lot of guys have earned playing time.
I know that Javonte Gibson's still recovering from the leg break in the spring.
Yep.
But just what I saw from him in the spring, he looks like a guy that can be a true difference maker for this offense. What have you seen from him as he's trying to work his way back and get on the practice field?
Yeah, it was so unfortunate, that injury, too. It was like the last spring practice, he was, engaged on a block and got leg whipped. But, yeah, he is – you go out to our practice field, even right now when he's out there just in shorts, he looks like an NFL receiver. He's a big, thick, physical-looking guy, and he would be unique to this group if we had him. He would bring something totally different than the current group right now that we're going to go into the season with. Doesn't have. We don't have that big physical presence, and that's what Javonte is. So he's going to be back. I don't know when exactly, but probably sooner rather than later. I think we'll have him for the bulk of the season, and it'll be good. Because I know through the spring that was one of John's favorite guys. There was a real chemistry being built before he got hurt.
Yeah, and you look, Arkansas Pine Bluff, and I think Javonte had come in before you got here, but still it shows you're not just, as you said, it's, oh, well, that's a Texas guy, or that's a Power 4 guy. You're uncovering, looking under every rock you can for talent, aren't you?
Yeah, I think receiver, just going back over the last 7 years to the Senior Bowl, watching a lot of these small school players, I think offensive line, wide receiver, and cornerback are 3 positions that a lot of small school guys have gotten drafted at. So I think that's kind of our mindset right now. Those are positions we're going to be able to target, knowing we can get proven commodities at those spots.
You mentioned the offensive line. I think that's a lot of OU fans' biggest concern after all of the injuries and what happened last season.
Yep.
What have you seen from the group as a whole? How are you feeling about the big boys up front?
Yeah, again, great competition. We all know Coach Bedenbaugh's the best there is in college football. I know you love the man.
Dearly.
Does a great job with all the guys, but just the competition. We've had some nicks here towards the end of camp, but the 2 young guys, Fasusi and Foje, are going to be really good players. Again, probably sooner rather than later. I'm excited to see those guys. Across the board. I mean, in what we're starting to develop now is some guys that can play multiple positions, which is great. We have some guards that can play tackle, some guards that can play center. So there's a lot of mixing and matching going on. And I don't know if we're going to get to like what that final group is going to look like, until we get into the SEC season. I don't know. But a lot of guys have earned playing time. So I think you're going to see a lot of guys play early. And whatever that group looks like shaken out, it's going to be, to me, a much improved unit than was on the field last year.
And I know there's excitement about guys like Jake Michla, who's come in and has been very impressive. But I heard this really smart man say something about a center, stole it from Gabe. Troy Everett's done everything that you want to see a guy do whenever there's a guy pushing for his job. I mean, in everything that we've heard, Jim, it seems like that he has really had a good camp. And he looks around him, and there's depth, there's competition there. That's got to be incredibly rewarding to see from your perspective.
Yeah, and he's a captain for a reason. Troy is a stud. Smart, tough, competitive, dependable, great teammate. You don't see a lot of offensive linemen like with a lot of juice. Used the word juice earlier. The first practice I was at, Troy called the team up and got them going, and you really don't. I mean, all my 30 years of going to college practices, you don't see a lot of offensive linemen really being that guy. And maybe he was that guy early in camp because John was just getting here. I think that's kind of become John. That's kind of John's role on the offense now. But no, Troy's battled his butt off, and he's had a great camp. I know we can win a lot of games with him.
Yeah, we'll get a break. We'll come back, talk about the defensive side of the football. Just a couple of college football games to keep an eye on, too, this week, including a big one up in Columbus. We'll get Jim Nagy's take on it. This segment, by the way, has been presented by Taco Mayo. Tap the app and save up to 25% today. More with the Sooner General Manager Jim Nagy when we come back live from Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue. It's the Huddle.
The Huddle is brought to you by Riverwind Casino. It's always a good time. OU Fan Shop. The best place to gear up for game day is shop.soonersports.com. Sooner Kids Club. Log on to Soonersports.com/kids for information about joining the Kids Club presented by OG&E and brought to you in part by Devon Energy.
And this drive starts with a handoff. Barnes, left side, bounces 30. Nice. Outside, still on his feet. Watch out. He's to the 40. Race to the end zone. 45-40. There goes Barnes. He's in the clear. 20, 15, 10, 5. Tripped up. He reaches for the pylon. Give it to him. 75-yard on the opening play.
Welcome back to the Huddle. We're live from Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue, brought to you by Air Comfort Solutions, your total home solution for plumbing, heating, air conditioning, and electrical. Make the winning call today. Jim Nagy is with us. That, of course, is Gabe Eichert. I'm Chris Plank. And the segment's being brought to you by our good friends out at Riverwind Casino. Always a good time with Justin Yahola and his incredible crew and what they do for the community. We were watching the run by Javante Barnes and came out today on the depth chart, tops on the depth chart. How impressed have you been with him, knowing that there's uber competition in that room, Jim, to jump out and have the kind of camp that he has?
Yeah, I'd say the biggest thing with Javante for me, and I spoke to the team a couple weeks ago, got up, and I kind of singled out some of the seniors and what's impressed me, and I told him going over things I was going to tell NFL scouts. And I said, how Javonte has handled us bringing in Jaden Ott, to create competition in that room, and just not even so much create competition, but put a home run hitter in that room. A lot of running backs would have pouted and sulked and got in their feelings a little bit, but that has not been Javonte. He's battled his butt off. He's had a great camp, and again, he's had a lot of opportunity because of because guys get nicked up. But I'll say this: he's one of the best pass protecting college running backs I've seen. Usually that's the biggest jump for these guys going to the NFL. They don't know how to do it. This guy's really good at it. Credit to DeMarco that he gets those guys ready to do it. But yeah, Javonte's had a phenomenal camp.
I always say physicality and consistency with him.
Yeah.
That's
what you're getting.
You know what you're getting with number 2. Let's talk about the defense. Just starting at that defensive line position on the depth chart. R. Mason Thomas, no or on that one. Interesting.
No or for the second team All SEC guy. No, he's in great shape. He looks like $1 million right now. And the nice thing is, we've got 3 or 4 other guys that are going to be able to rotate and keep R. Mason fresh. And he had 9 sacks last year. I think 9, if I remember correctly, on a team where the offense really wasn't. He wasn't in a lot.
We were never ahead.
We were
Jim.
never ahead. He was never pinning his ears back to get those 9 sacks. So with an offense that should be able to put up a lot of points this year, I mean, R. Mason and the rest of the guys are going to be hopefully in a lot of positions where they can do that. And again, that should equate to a lot more sacks for R. Mason, which will help him out eventually when he goes to the next level.
I know something that stood out to the fan base on the depth chart was that Danny Okoye is technically listed as a 3.
Right.
But I know how high you guys are on him and what he can be. What have you seen from the young edge guy?
Yeah, that's why I don't pay attention to depth charts.
That's a good-looking 3.
Yeah, Danny Okoye, we were all out of practice the other day, and you and Teddy were going back, okay, have we ever had a guy in the last 25 years at Oklahoma look like Danny Okoye? And you guys know the rosters better than I do, but
the answer is no.
The answer is no. No, for a guy that played a really small level of high school football here in the state. That's another guy. We went back and watched the high school tape, and that was ridiculous. It was
It's almost like
it's not fair.
Comedy.
Yeah, he felt bad for the guys he was playing against.
Yeah,
but
out of Noah up in Tulsa. Yeah.
Yeah, so he's Danny's come a long way. Taylor Wine's come a long way. Taylor Wine lived in the building this offseason. Like, there was a week during spring break where it was myself, Jaron Kanik, and Taylor Wine were the 3 guys in the building every day. Everyone else was out. But no, it's a fun group. It's a fun group because they all are a little, in terms of pass rush, they're all a little different stylistically. They all get to the quarterback in different ways. So it's going to give tackles a lot to prepare for. I mean, you're rotating R. Mason with Okoye. R. Mason's a little more of a finesse rusher, even though he's got more power now than he had a year ago. And Okoye, if he wants to go through anybody in this league, he's going to be able to go through them. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be it's a really good group to roll out.
Marvin Jones Jr. comes in from Florida State. I've seen some real improvement from him in camp than what I saw from him in the spring. What have you seen from him?
No doubt. No, Marvin's another guy I've been watching for years. I was week 1 a year ago this time. I was getting ready to go to Tallahassee to watch Marvin Jones. We thought he might be coming out for the draft and watched him. And no, he's come leaps and bounds. Just in his urgency, give Miguel Chavis a lot of credit. I mean, that group is, again, competition breeds that, right? So we got really good competition. Chavis, just coaches competition and motor. And so right now, Marvin, I mean, that's another guy. You're not hearing a lot about Marvin's development, but he's a guy since the start of camp is for a guy late in his career, he's kind of on a really cool trajectory. So it's going to be a fun group. It's going to be a fun group to keep those guys, coming in and out.
He's an all-first guy off the bus team, member 2, is Marvin Jones Jr.
Looks the part,
he is
no doubt.
Impressive. This segment's been brought to you by Riverwind Casino. Always a good time. More with Jim Nagy next inside the Huddle, live from Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue. Stick around.
The Huddle is brought to you by Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue, bringing you the best in real Texas barbecue. Trails Golf Club of Norman, where members become family. Inquire today at trailsgolf.com. OU's 2025 football games are available on Ritmo 96.5 FM in Oklahoma City and 101.5 FM El Patron in Tulsa, as well as on these stations' websites. Each OU Spanish broadcast will feature a 30-minute pregame show and a 15-minute postgame show.
As he throws, R. Mason knocked the ball loose. He picked it up. R. Mason Thomas, he's unstoppable in the fourth quarter. He forced the fumble, picked it up. He's a one-man wrecking crew, and you can unhitch the wagon.
Yeah, he deserves it all, man. R. Mason is a stud. Can't wait to see him this weekend. Segment of The Huddle is brought to you by Air Comfort Solutions, your total home solution for plumbing, heating, air conditioning, and electrical. Make the winning call today. We're here with Jim Nagy. And real quick, before we talk a little bit more about some of the guys on the depth chart, let's take a look at our upcoming schedule this week. It's our opponent preview, and it's brought to you by One Oklahoma, the One Oklahoma Sooner Sports schedule. One Oklahoma, powered by Sooner Sports Property, fan field, athlete focused. You've taken a little bit of an in-depth look against Illinois State. They got a crafty and athletic quarterback, don't they?
Tommy Rittenhouse. He does not look like much, but he can run. And I think that when you look at, okay, what can the Sooners get out of this matchup? I think dealing with his mobility and making sure you contain him, whether that's using him in the run game or him as a scrambler, making sure you stay in your rush lanes, I think that's valuable for the Sooners defense. They also have a wide receiver, Daniel Sobkowitz, he was an 1,100-yard wide receiver last year and made big plays, like had an 84-yard touchdown, had multiple 60-yard catches, 40-yard catches. He produced a lot, and with our situation at corners, some of these young corners get an opportunity against a guy that is all of 6'2" and 205 pounds. I like seeing that. I like them getting that challenge. So there are a couple of solid players. This is a team that's preseason number 6 in the FCS. So this isn't just some terrible team coming to Norman, especially at their level. And then on the defensive side for Illinois State, I think the biggest test OU's offense is going to get is in some of the second and long and third and long situations. They got pressure packages for days. 5-man blitzes, 6-man blitzes, 0 blitzes where they're bringing 7. And I want to see Troy Everett in that offensive line identify that stuff properly, communicate it to the backs. I know John Mateer throughout camp has taken control of some of the pass protection, which I love seeing. But I think that's the number one thing that OU's offense is going to get out of this game is seeing some of those pressure looks and being able to communicate all that stuff across the board and get those reps in a live football game. It's not the same as camp. So it's good. It's good.
It'll be Saturday night, 5 o'clock. We don't have a ton of time in this segment, but
okay.
You mentioned, Jim, one of the guys that was in the building with you throughout the summer was a dude who's playing a new position, and boom, he's right atop the depth chart. What have you seen from Jaron Kanik?
Yeah, really athletic. What I didn't know, Jaron ran 10.37 in the 100 meters in high school. That's flying. I don't think we have a corner on the team that ran 10.37 in high school. Maybe Day-Day, maybe Day-Day Jordan did. But no, a really athletic guy. For Jaron's sake, it would have been cool to see him have a couple more years at this position, but he's done a great job so far. You throw it to him, he catches it. He's going to be able to get open. He and John, again, like trust. I'm a big guy on like trust factor with a quarterback, and he and John have that. So, and again, just the leadership. I mean, this guy is just off the charts when it comes to, and that's why he's a fan favorite. I know all the social media stuff he's great at, but no, he's just in the building. He's a stud.
Important follow-up question. Have you met his dog?
No, the little wiener dog? No, I have not.
The dog is famous now.
Oh, yeah. The dog went viral last week.
Burger.
Yeah,
Burger.
A wiener dog named Burger is fantastic.
Great name.
We're going to wrap up the Huddle with Jim Nagy next, live from Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue. Stick around.
The Huddle is brought to you by Walden Cleaners and Laundry, where the difference is quality. We want to thank all of our Sooner Radio Network affiliates across the state and region. Fans can check out Soonersports.com for an affiliate in your area. And if you're traveling outside the state of Oklahoma, you can listen to all the action on either Sirius XM Radio or download the Varsity Network app and listen free.
Thompson kneels it down, and that'll do it. And here they come. They're not going to keep them off the field in Norman. Oklahoma has upset Alabama, and they have rolled the Tide right out of the college football playoff picture.
Final segment of the Huddle is brought to you by the Trails Golf Club in Norman, where members become family. I can attest to that. Inquire today at trailsgolf.com. And typically, this is where we'd have Gabe's What's Your Beef segment. We have nothing to beef about yet. The season hasn't really started, has it?
No, I can't complain yet.
Didier Ranch, premium ranch-based beef that can be shipped anywhere in the continental U.S. Visit DidierRanch.com. That's DIDIER Ranch.com to order. Didier Ranch tradition tastes better. So instead of What's Your Beef, I got 1 minute exactly.
Okay.
How you feeling? What are you most excited about Saturday?
The stadium, the atmosphere. Never been to a game in Norman.
Ooh.
So this is going to be my first. No, really, yeah. Just fired up for our players. They put in so much work, and to go out and finally compete against somebody else, I'm just excited for them.
We're excited you're here, man. Great job.
Thanks.
Appreciate everything you've done this summer and spreading the word to Sooner Nation.
Yeah.
Gabe, great stuff, man. So we're going to be on the air 3 hours before kickoff on Saturday night, 5 p.m. Jim Nagy's never been to an OU game. You guys going to be wild for him? It's going to be loud?
Yeah.
Going to be crazy?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
We are just getting started here at Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue. One show down. Guess who's coming up next? OU head football coach Brent Venables. Stick around for Sooner Sports Talk with Brent Venables next, right here live from Rudy's.
Live from Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue, the Air Comfort Solutions OU Huddle has been presented by Air Comfort Solutions, your total home solution for plumbing, heating, air conditioning, and electrical. Make the winning call today. Also brought to you by Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue, bringing you the best in real Texas barbecue. And by Walden Cleaners, Walden Cleaners and Laundry, where the difference is quality. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation on the Sooner Sports Network.